I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like Dalton Prout just kind of sitting there. I
Yeah,
don't
you,
know.
you like the guy who gets a
He
concussion,
throws.
comes back and
He's
gets in a fight and gets punched in the
hell
face, and
yeah.
you're like, what the
He
fuck is
throws.
wrong with you?
He throws the fuck down, and he seems like a nice guy. Like we don't
He's
need
an
him on the
idiot.
ice for more than a. That's fine, man. A lot of hockey players are idiots. That's total. That's since when has that been an exclusive something keep someone out of a hockey game? I see more idiots out there than smart people. Uh,
All right, this is going to be episode number 5 of Tank Talk, a show where we talk about the San Jose Sharks. Got a lot of things to talk about this week, breaking down some of the interesting things that have happened around the NHL, going to the Sharks games that have been in between our last couple episodes, talk about the Sharks finally getting in a playoff spot, tons of things to talk about. We are on Spotify, Apple Music or podcasts, whatever, YouTube, Google Play, a bunch of different things. So, yeah, just check us out there, wherever you're listening to us, whatever. Jeff, how you doing?
Doing good. Only lost 2 games since we started talking about how we needed to beat Chicago and Minnesota to start feeling good. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Pretty insane run, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I still think about, and this is probably something we're going to talk about a lot for the rest of the season, but just how fucking different this team would look if, that game against Minnesota we actually blew, and if we lost to Chicago, holy shit.
Yeah, if we had lost those 2, I don't think we'd be very happy right now.
No, I think we'd have a new coaching staff and all this stuff. The season would be entirely different, but we don't have to talk about that because we just have to talk about the happy things. So
Thank goodness.
Sharks finally getting into a playoff spot after this great run of November. Thank God that we kind of play in a shitty division known as the Pacific Division. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Just general recap of November.
We looked great. I think the goaltending was, like we said in the last episode, that was the one thing that maybe needed to step up. And ironically enough, it stepped up. I think Dell put in a nice effort in his first start in forever against Vegas, and that little fire under Joner's ass. And I think he got 3rd star of the week or something for the NHL last week. So,
yeah, no, he did.
If they just keep listening to us, then I think we'll just keep getting better.
Yeah. No, yeah, this was an absolutely insane November, and just something that needed to happen. We kind of lucked out, I feel like, for the Sharks coming in so cold, and then to have their second month of the season be basically an entire homestand, playing against our strength of schedule wasn't that bad. We did play some tough teams, but playing the Kings in the same week twice, and
we've been home a ridiculous amount too.
Yeah, so just having that, I think, was huge for us and really putting us into a playoff spot. So, nothing to worry about anymore, right?
Well,
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, we'll get more into, some of the things to worry about. Want to bring to light the Avalanche and the Kings Stadium Series jerseys that they will be using and how fucking bad they look. I just put it on the screen now. Jeff, what are your initial thoughts on these Stadium Series?
I don't like to talk about Kings things anyway. So I guess this one's just nice for everyone to visually look at and how stupid it is. The bottom half being white is just ridiculous to me. And then the Avs jerseys, I don't have a problem with the Avs, but good God, that looks like a mentally handicapped kid just started drawing on a jersey, and that's what popped out. It almost looks like a sad elf with a hat on. Even though I know that it's probably supposed to be an A, and maybe the mountains are now.
Why are the mountains? Yeah, that's what I don't get.
I think the mountains are supposed to be burgundy. I don't know because I don't know.
It's throwing me off that the mountains touch the middle triangle of the A.
Yeah. I don't like it at all.
It
looks really bad. It looks like the eyes of a sinister elf, maybe.
Yeah, and the Kings too. The Kings last Stadium Series jersey was so awful too. It was so awful. Like you would think that they would.
Was that the one with us or the
Yeah,
one
that
with
was
the
the one with
Ducks?
us. No, that was the one with us.
Okay, okay, yeah.
It was fucking gross. So like, I don't know. You'd think they'd after like a lot of people didn't like it. You'd think they'd maybe hire someone else to
Yeah.
design their jersey, but it looks like it
Especially
was the
because the
same
bees
person.
got such good the bees got such good alternate jerseys that just came in. I really like those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's those are ugly. They're not the prettiest Stadium Series jerseys, but
No,
just a quick thing to touch on that. Always fun to make fun of the Kings, so good
absolutely.
to bring that up. Transitioning to some of the bigger news that occurred over, I guess, in between the time of our last episode. We got Mike Babcock being fired from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Bill Peters resigning. I personally would like the Bill Peters thing from the Flames. Like that's always a shitty situation. Nothing that the NHL wants, and we don't even really need to touch on it. There's no right and wrong.
Nothing
it's just
anyone wants.
yeah. So I guess like let's just focus more on the Mike Babcock getting the boot from Toronto, and what do you think about that initially?
The Babcock story was just kind of like it was such a dick move. I'm not even compared to the Peters thing, like you said. It's not even need to be discussed. Like that's clearly there's a right and a wrong, and that was wrong. The Babcock thing is like I mean he's a great coach and I have respect for him, but that's just what a kind of a shitty human being thing to do. If I were Mitch Marner, I'd be like sitting there in practice, like on one knee. He's just all of a sudden like, hey, just so you know, like Dano, he thinks that he thinks you're not a very hardworking guy, and just your Marner, like the fuck, what's the matter with you? Like what the hell? Like that. I don't know. Like it was just weird. Like
yeah. So for those who don't know, Mike Babcock, when Marner was a rookie, gave him a piece of paper and told him to write down the players that were rank all the players for hardest working to least hardest working, right? And what a fucking stupid exercise that is.
yeah.
Why would you even need to do that? Especially
I don't know. I was confused by that too. Yeah.
And then not only that does that happen, but he brings the list that Marner writes to light to the whole team. So the people that he called out for being the least hardest working, which honestly, when you're like going down the list and you're like given such a weird task from your coach, you're probably like, I don't fucking know, like these guys.
You're probably just throwing names.
Yeah,
like.
and he's like getting called out just so like everyone hates Martin. Like what's the end goal?
I don't understand the psychology behind it, but I don't know. Maybe Babcock did it when he was with the Wings and they won a cup, and he was like, "Oh,
yeah, no."
again."
Apparently, like something, I thought I read somewhere that someone from the Wings organization or formerly from the Wings organization came out and said like something similar happened to him. So I guess that's just like his tactic. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a weird fucking tactic. Now everyone knows. Like now everyone's like, I'm not fucking making a list.
Yeah. I wonder how many other coaches maybe, were thinking about doing that.
I know these kind of things always make me think of DeBoer, but I mean, like, I don't know, like I haven't heard anything bad about him other than that he's just kind of like a serious, borderline, just kind of asshole, but like not in a bad way kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like DeBoer is one of the last people to do that.
No, I don't think he would do that. He seems like a good guy, but maybe we'll find something out in the future.
Who knows? Things always come out when people are fired, fortunately.
Seriously.
But yeah, transitioning to something that I noticed, which was basically the last 4 episodes we have, or the first 4, whatever you want to say. We have probably criticized Erik Karlsson and Jonah the most. Because those are, for one, Erik Karlsson, highest paid defenseman in the NHL. He's going to be looked at in a magnifying glass all the time. It's just kind of how it goes. And then Jonah, with kind of the rough regular season he had last year and the kind of weak showing, bad stats that he pulled out this year, these are 2 guys that we criticized heavily, and they really stepped up. Jones received the NHL third star of the week for this last week. He posted a 1.98 goals against average and a 935 save percentage in these last 3 games that he started. something that we talked about. We said we needed to see him get his goals or his save percentage above 900. I don't think it's still cumulative, whatever. I don't think it's above 900 yet for the season, but he's showing really good signs of improvement. The D are showing good signs of improvement, and Erik Karlsson being one of the biggest signs of improvement I've seen as well. I mean, he has looked, and I'm not even talking about a point perspective. I just think he's looked really good with Vlasic. They like Vlasic and Karlsson look like the best pair now, and like I was calling out,
funny. Yeah.
And we were calling out Vlasic too a bunch because he had a horrible plus minus, and I know it's a shitty stat, whatever, but he didn't look good, and he's on kind of a high contract. Karlsson didn't look good, and they're turning it around. Something interesting, like yes, Karlsson's known for his offensive threat, and he's still second in assists on our team, but he leads our team in shot blocking, which I think is pretty cool to see. Like out of
I didn't even know that
offensive defenseman. So yeah, what are your thoughts on just briefly Jones and Karlsson?
I mean, I'd like to first pat the two of us on the back because I really think that apparently we're making a coaching difference here. Every week we come on the show and we'll rip on some people, and finally, we were ripping on Joner every episode, but he got the limelight, last week, or not last week, but the last episode. And what do you know? Like, I mean, I'll give credit to Dell too. Dell had a great game against Vegas, and I think his performance can't go overlooked just because of the impact that I think it made on Joner. And then, Dell followed up with then a shitty performance against was he in the net against the Jets?
Yeah.
So he followed up with a shitty, but you know what? We just needed him for that Vegas game to wake Joner up, and it seemed to work. And then as far as Karlsson goes, yeah, he's been a lot better. The amount of money we're paying him, I still expect even more, but I'm glad he's finally getting it back together, and he is playing well. So I'll keep my criticisms to a minimum for the show today.
Yeah. Next player to step it up then it's got to be Brent Burns, because I'm going to spend some time shitting on him, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Now I think we should go into our review of the games. The Sharks were 6-2 in our last episode, or between our last episode. 8 games happening, so we got a lot to talk about. First game, Sharks playing the Detroit Red Wings, winning the game 4-3 in a shootout. Shot total, Sharks were outshot 19-28, kind of an ugly stat, but we got goals from Kevin LeBanc, Vlasic, and Erik Karlsson. Jeff, what are your initial thoughts? I know this game kind of far away. I'm not sure if what you thought initially of this.
Well, I got home with the cheesecake in hand, pretty drunk for this one, but thank God got to watch the end of it because that overtime was pretty fun. And also, I would say that the Red Wings, it's Anthony Ciu, who I actually mentioned in the last episode too. Yeah. That kid is fucking good, and I obviously I'm not talking about like trading him right now or anything shit like that. But if down the line, because the Red Wings are a shitty team, they're looking to get rid of him, I would love to somehow work our way into the market for that because he looks fucking filthy. But the boys all look good. This was kind of the start of Cooch's hot run, if you look at it from a schedule perspective. And I don't know, could have been a bigger win. Probably should have been a bigger win. But I mean, they're in the opposite conference. I'll take the 2 points.
Yeah, and just to touch on the Anthony Ciu, I doubt Detroit's going to be letting them up. I mean, they're the worst team in the NHL. But yeah, Detroit's got some good young guys for sure. I don't know, some of my initial thoughts. Yeah. I mean, probably 5 years back, but they got a ways to go. But they still got some good talent, some pieces worth holding on to for sure.
Now they got Babcock to sandbag. So that'll be fun.
Oh boy. Yeah. But some of my initial thoughts of this game were, I thought Howard looks like shit. I think he kind of sucks, which is a bummer because he used to be so good, and I just don't think he looked good at all in that game. Bank looked good, which is always good to see. Bank's one of our streakiest players, and when he plays well, it's fun to watch for sure. He can take over games, and he kind of has this I mean, I can't relate him to like a Hurdle and a Meyer because he doesn't have that puck protection, big body that those two have. But Hurdle and Meyer, when they're on their game, can like take over games, and that's something that I see LeBanc have in his puck possession a lot of time when he's rolling. So I'd like to see that more. But yeah, it's like this game is okay. It sucks to go to a shootout against Detroit, but like you said, it doesn't really matter in terms of points because just as long as we get two. But we start to see like power plays becoming a problem, and we didn't have any good shots on net. And some of the problems with Brent Burns this game, he's just like his defensive awareness looked off. And I just kind of feel bad for Shimmick playing with Brent Burns at this point, which is a crazy thing to say. And it's probably going a little too far. But, like, Shimmick, he's really good defensively. Yeah, he'll mess up from time to time. He's young. It happens. But, like, feels like Burns leaves him out to dry so often. And
Shimmick 15.
Yeah, Shimmick and Burns were out there for every single goal against in that games. Burns was completely missing the entire fucking game. I don't know. Yeah, it's just I didn't like that game. I don't like when Burns isn't playing well, and this was like the start, I thought, of like. I mean, he hasn't played amazing all season, but this was like the start of a string of bad games, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about this game.
I don't have. It reminded me of the Blackhawks, the Wild game from earlier. We were playing down to a shitty team. It felt.
Yeah, and the Sharks tend to have this tendency where they played at their level. I mean, that was kind of something that was reminiscent of them last year. This year, not like in October, they were playing at an AHL level, so that didn't even matter.
Yeah.
But they do have this tendency where they're playing like shittier teams. It seems like they don't work as hard. Yeah, it's just kind of what happens, I guess. Moving on to one of our losses, the Sharks lost to the Oilers 5-2. The Sharks outshot the Oilers 35-29. One of those games where they outshot the team, but they weren't good shots. Like the Oilers had a ton more chances. We had goals from Kevin LeBanc, Barclay Goodrow. And yeah, what are your thoughts on this one, Jeff?
It reminded me a lot of the Jets game. It felt like a mirror of the Jets game to come. I don't know if they were on this. They were about a week apart. One was on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. But yeah, I don't know. Low effort. It looked like the team from the beginning half of the season. But obviously, at this point, we're winning games. We're becoming a different team. So it stopped the win streak. But just you got to take a step back and look at a perspective. Like we had just won, what was it, 6 straight? Yeah, 6 straight. And it was a letdown, but it was also one of those games where I don't want them dwelling on it. So, I mean, we can dwell on it all we want, but I didn't feel there was a whole lot to dwell on other than the same thing with Joner. I would have, not knowing what I know now, I would have kind of ripped on Joner again. But he's picked it up, so I'll keep those comments, to myself.
Yeah, something that I noticed, well, obviously a problem that we've been seeing that we'll talk more about later is just we have no fourth line. So that's a problem if you want to be a good hockey team. And there's just like a really big difference because Sharks will show flashes of greatness and then they'll show flashes of how they were in October. And there's big key characteristics that you can see between like the Sharks team that was on a big win streak versus the Sharks team that was awful in October. Like letting the first goal in, any goals that they let in within first 5. I'd even say when you let in a goal first 5 minutes of the first period, it's not good. Getting scored on in the last 2 minutes of a period, not good. These are just like 2 of the biggest times in games that are like huge momentum builders or breakers. And, when you see the Sharks look off at the beginning of a game, like the first 5 minutes, or in the last 2 minutes of the first or second period, you can even go the third because they've shown that they can blow third period leads in 2 minutes already. But if you look at those like timestamps, those are like when you see, okay, are we having a good Sharks game or are we having a shitty Sharks game? That's how I feel is
Yeah.
happening a lot. Marlowe looked good tonight, but not many other players did. I thought Joner was below 900. Wouldn't even blame it on him. It's just like these are
He
things
didn't
that
get
you
a lot
can,
of help,
yeah,
but it still comes back to 5 goals
yeah.
isn't great.
And these are just some of the things like that we were highlighting. Just taking a look at the stats, that it's not good to see Jones below 900. Funny enough, Radil getting total of 6 minutes on the ice, so that's always good.
Hey, you know what? When I have seen Radil playing, I haven't been overtly upset. So maybe they're using him just right, where he plays 6 minutes a game and doesn't do enough to get noticed or do anything bad, and he just lets someone have a break.
Well,
Let
yeah.
Timo sit for a couple more minutes, and you just don't make a mistake.
Recently,
So
he hasn't even been playing. He's been a healthy scratch. That's the life he's known.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have him sit up in HP, or I guess it's SAP, but just have him go sit up in the crowd, eat some popcorn. I don't know. Find himself a biddy to take home. We'll all be happy.
Oh my God! Another fun stat is that everyone that's been rotating through the fourth line, so all those AHL guys, including Radil, they have tallied a total of 0 points. So that's fun. All those AHL guys that we keep rotating, and that's as of the Edmonton game. Okay, not saying that now because we know, Noah Gregor scored a goal.
Yeah. The Gregor goal was a beauty too.
It was. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the Edmonton game. Just kind of a bummer. Happens.
Yeah, it was a shit game.
We were on a good win streak, so don't want to look at it too much. But then we go on to Vegas. So this is generally a cause for concern because we are terrible in their barn. But
Yep.
what starts as a string of overtime goals that Couture will tally. He does it for first tonight. Sharks win 2-1 in overtime. They're outshot 29-38.
Fucking Joner.
Yeah, Joner.
Excuse
this
me,
is Dell.
Dell.
Yeah. So, generally, not only is it a cause for concern because we don't do good in their barn, but we have no Hurdle. So just going into the game, no Hurdle. He's sitting out. Goodrow is the center in the second line. We're dressing 7 defensemen and 11 forwards. We're having players leave in the middle of the game for injury. And Dell gets his first start since that we haven't turned any, or before we turned things around. So this is his first start in a while.
Was this the first night that we had gone 7D?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So
not you, Alexa. God, I hate just quick interlude. Alexa is the worst voice thing. She just talks for everything. Doesn't matter. Get a Siri or Google. Google's great. Hey Google, what's the weather like? I don't care. But they're just Alexa sucks dick. All right, sorry. Back to the Vegas game.
Yeah. So looking at the beginning of the game, it just didn't look good to start. But we lose another challenge with the sumo goal, which is a common theme that happens. Is we lose every single challenge. But we're able to pull out a huge win for Dell. Dell was able to play huge. But yeah, you tell me your thoughts. I mean, I'm gonna go on a little rant about Vegas and just I don't want to touch on everything in the game. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let you. Yeah, you load up for your rant, and I'll give my quick little. I thought Dell was absolutely 100% the star of this game. I thought he was filthy, just passing the eye test too. And I've been harsh on Dell almost to the point of where I'm not harsh, where I just kind of treat him like he's kind of a nothing, just like a nothing human being, which is bad because Dell's great. And this game in particular was awesome. And Joner clearly was sitting on that bench watching, oh shit, I may not have the starting job forever. Aaron Dell could actually make a difference on the road against our new big rival. So I thought Dell was great. The overturned goal was some bullshit, like you said. That is becoming a theme, and I could go on my own little rant. Maybe one after we review all the games because we've gotten some absolute shit called against us.
We'll talk about that, yeah.
Which is no excuse, and I'll be the first to say that I hate when people complain about refs and say my team gets screwed the most or my team has the most injuries. But I think it's been very clear that the Sharks have not gotten calls going there. So yeah, I mean, Aaron Dell stepped up big time. Timo Meyer, Cooch, the fucking beauty, and he did it 2 nights in a row too. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk about Vegas. I fucking hate this team. I hate Vegas so much. You want to hear something funny, too? You were talking about Aaron Dell. You were talking about, like, what a fucking beauty he was. The 3 stars of the game for this game. First star, Cooch, overtime goal. All right. That's fair.
Oh, my God. I'm looking at it now, yeah.
Second star of the game, Braden McNabb with 1 goal. Okay. Now, this is where it gets... This is just a joke at this point. Third star of the game, Ryan Reeves. Ryan fucking Reeves with 12 hits. And everyone knows.
That's so fucking stupid.
If you don't know this, there is something called the Vegas hit counter, which is basically everyone thinks is just complete bullshit that Vegas will say that there are more hits in a game to try to get people to come to the game. So they'll put the hit counter up like really high. Ryan Reeves with 12 hits, I doubt that. Whatever. The 3 stars of the game are
Timo Meyer had 9 hits and a goal.
Yeah.
Like, could the goal not be worth, 4 extra hits? Like, what the hell?
Not only that,
and we won.
But, I mean, Flowers stopped 29 shots. He still had a good game. Aaron Dell stopped 37 shots. 37 shots. And he's not even a star. We give it to Ryan Reeves.
And he had a great, he didn't just have a bullshit 37, that even saying aloud sounds like it's impossible to have bullshit 37 saves. Like, he played a great game and made some outstanding saves. That's
right before
that's some Vegas bias bullshit.
Yeah, right before we scored the goal in overtime, he I forgot who he shut down, but he completely fucking saved the game. I was about ready to turn off my TV and be like, all right, this game's over, because they came down on it's either a breakaway or 2-0. I don't remember. It was over a week ago.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
But I was like, holy shit. It was a really good save. So that's just some bullshit. I fucking hate everyone on their team. Cody Eakin is a little bitch. Okay?
He just looks like a little bitch.
He sucks. He takes his big dive during the game, acts like he's dead. They call a penalty on the wrong person. Meyer gets speared in the cock. No call. It's always My problem with this.
I'm looking at their roster. The whole fucking.
My problem with Vegas is that there's literally just always something that has to happen in these games. When we play Vegas, there's always something that's okay, this is such bullshit. It just feels like a fucking club hockey game, like a club college hockey game where you just have these fucking goons running around and the refs are just blind. But
it's ironic too, because I think they are such big fucking whiners. Their whole team, their head coach, they complain, and I think it's maybe just some arrogance because of the spotlight they got the year they ran to the cup. I don't know what it is. They got hubris because they're fucking playing in Vegas and they get gold in their colors, but they just seem entitled to me, and they act fucking entitled, and I hate it. And it's so stupid. And then they kind of bitch we lost that game because you guys had a 5-minute major penalty or unreleasable. I'm like, yeah, we won that game because we scored 4 fucking goals. It's that's pretty impossible to do regardless. So how'd you shut up?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like them at all.
The other thing too is Vegas fans fucking hate our players too, which I find funny, because if you look at some of the players that we have on our team, we don't have a lot of fucks. We don't have a lot of guys who are universally hated. There's a lot of Vegas fans that hate our players, and I love the fact that they fucking hate Kane, and Kane is such a beauty. We hate Ryan Reeves. Okay, Ryan Reeves fucking sucks at hockey. We always have that over him. They hate Kane, and Kane will fucking score multiple goals. I just love Kane. I love how he shit talks them. I love how their fans, Vegas tries so hard to be our biggest rival. Their fans, their media, their players, they all try to get some hype over every game, and we're just fuck you guys, we don't really care.
Yeah. To their credit, they're new to the league, so I'm happy with the media attention they get, but it's don't turn your media attention into thinking that you're any better than we are, because you're not. You're just not. We climbed our way back, and now we're ahead of you in the division. We're 4-10. So
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should just fucking calm down and go take some Caner bets at the casino.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is just the fact that Vegas fans, one of their favorite players and what the team praises is a player like Ryan Reeves,
Yeah,
who sucks ass. Like, that's just fucking sad.
yeah,
That's just sad.
never been a talented player. That's never been. He's just been a goon, and he's not like a John Scott goon either, where it's like, oh, like that's cool, like we all acknowledge that he sucks ass, but he knows it too, and it's fun for all of us because Ryan Reeves is just like, oh, he's a dick. So like, I don't get it. Like, is he just cool for Vegas? And that's really all it is. He's cool because he's a douchebag who's not good at hockey.
Yeah. All right, that's my Vegas rant. Dude, I don't have anything else to say about this game.
No, I think we handed it to Vegas right there.
Yeah. All right, next game we go on to play the Islanders. I mean, the Islanders come to us.
My favorite game.
This is a great game. Shots, the Sharks were outshot 26-28. Shot differentials totally whatever. Because if you look at our penalties, we gave up 6 penalties, and our PP clutched it out again for us.
The refs suck.
Yeah. And we got goals from Sorensen and Cooch in overtime yet again. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this game?
This was my favorite game by far to watch. Dude, the moment Cooch scored that goal, I was like, holy shit. I was like, this just does not seem like – I didn't think that would happen at all. I was not thinking by any means we would win going into the game. No, not like anything bad on the Sharks. The Islanders are sick. Like, I think the Islanders are a damn good team. And obviously, like, they are. I don't think they'd lost a regulation game since, like, October 10th. Yeah. And they still hadn't because we beat them in overtime. But, like, I mean, the fact that we've won. And, again, it's the same thing, too, as the Detroit game, It sucks to win in overtime because, stats-wise, the other team gets a point, but it's the Islanders. So the Islanders get a point. That literally affects us in no way. And we get 2 more points up on everyone else in the Pacific. So, all around, fucking great game. Jonah looked great, too. He looked like way more confident, which is a big thing for him. And he kept playing that way, too, into the next couple games. So,
yeah, that was something, too. It's like Jones looked a little more aggressive coming out of the net, which isn't necessarily a common trait with Jones, but it's not like I don't like it. Like, I like to see it. I like it when he plays aggressive. I think, like, Jones is such a fundamentally sound goalie that if he's, feeling a little more confident, being a little more aggressive, that's not really a bad thing because he still has his, like, fundamentals that he can go back on. But, yeah, Jones and Sorensen played really well.
Yeah, and I know, too, like as a goalie, like, the times when you feel unconfident is when you're getting cold in your pads. You're not moving around. Like, you're fucking sitting there. Like, Jonah clearly looked like he didn't feel any awkwardness in moving. Like, he was getting out there more aggressively, which a lot of times, like you said, with a guy like him who's positional and just a straight up, like, stereotypical style of goaltender who just does everything the right way fundamentally, the fact that him coming out more would normally, seem maybe like could be bad, but that just made him look that much more comfortable. He's experimenting a little with his angles, and I don't know. He was good to watch.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm trying to, we haven't had a lot of disagreements on this on this show when we review these games, but
I mean, it's
hard to disagree on a 2-1 overtime win. Yeah, Jones plays well. I think Karlsson still played well.
I got one that maybe you'll disagree with, but I'll wait for it to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually our 43rd victory in a row where we allow the opponents 2 or fewer. If you listen to Brody, I know you don't, but Brody always fucking talks about that. So that's pretty cool.
I do like Scott Hannon. I like Scott Hannon's been a nice addition this year.
Scott Hannon sweats so much.
I don't know why he needs to be sweating.
He's so sweaty.
I honestly haven't noticed that, but I like his analysis.
I notice that like every time. Oh, he's a big guy, bald, and you can like got a lot of lights on you when he's doing the broadcast, and you could just see like he's got so much sweat.
Oh, good God! Now I'm gonna notice it.
Yeah. Fuck. So if you hadn't noticed that, you will now. But yeah, so just going back to the game, I really like these games that we're showing, these 2-1 victories. Although it's, I'm a Sharks fan. I'd like the Sharks to win 5-6-0 every single game, but that's obviously not going to happen. So these 2-1 games, I like way more than 6-5 games.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it
absolutely.
shows, especially for our team and like the problems we had originally. It shows we're cleaning stuff up defensively. It shows that we don't have to try to outscore our problems when we're losing. So, you know, recently against teams with good records. I'm saying this recently because it didn't happen against Winnipeg, who was another hot team, but we haven't folded, which was something that kept happening. It's like, we'd have a close game in October. We'd have a close game against one team that's maybe not so good. And then, the next game we'd play like an actual good hockey team and we just lose 5-1.
Well, I think the Oilers was a little bit of that, but
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, it's always a good sign. And, maybe Dell's making Joner step up. I don't know. You kind of touched on that too. There's just
I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping. And the thing is though, for that to keep up, the next time Joner starts struggling, like knock on wood, but the next time Joner starts struggling, Dell's got to have another nice ass start. Which is tough to do as a backup 10D when you're not. It's not like they're splitting fucking 70-30. Like they're going 80-20 probably for the whole season.
That's what I like.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree.
And
but I'm just for Dell's psyche, like it's tough to be making starts cold every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and like before it was like 65-35. It felt like, and it was because like nothing was sticking for these two goaltenders. But yeah, I think Jones does the best when he's playing the majority of the games. There's not really a question on who the starter is, but then when Dell gets put in, he will post a good game that makes Joner need to work harder. I think that's the best. Like when your backup goalie is pushing you to work harder, that's the best scenario you can be in. And I think it was good that Dell played a great game. I think Joner responded really good, and I think Couture has responded a lot to the people who were calling for his captaincy.
Yeah.
So it was good, seeing
that was a big fuck you to those guys, and I'm all on his side, as I've said in this show.
And
so to those people, those Sharks fans online who are, he shouldn't be the captain. How about you shut the fuck up? And you know what? At this point, you probably have, so that's good.
Yeah, no. Now they've turned into really sweet fans. Never said anything wrong about the Sharks.
I've loved Couture. He's been my favorite. All right.
That's basically how they've been.
Just fucking keep sucking on the baby bottle, and we'll come back to you later. Good Lord.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about the Islanders? I mean, this is just another game where we dressed 11 forwards, 7D. It's weird. I don't like it. I feel like there's a lot of problems with it, but I
don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't necessarily have. Maybe here's an area we might, and this is what I was talking about.
I definitely disagree.
I actually don't have a huge problem with it so far, and it's not like I wanted it going into it. I really hadn't even, considered it, because I always think of the 7D men as like a every once in a while thing. Like if you don't trust your fucking backup to give someone a break, like getting scratched. But I haven't had a problem with it so far.
But here's what I've noted, and like we'll table most of this discussion to later. But like this 7D 11 forward thing started because Hurdle got hurt, and it was like instead of calling up another AHL forward and filling out a fourth line, DeBoer was just like address 7D. So whatever. I guess the final thing I'll say about the Islanders game is just like, it's just really nice to see how we can change our play style and win a game where like our offense isn't firing on all cylinders, and we just like it seemed like a really solid defensive game, and I was happy to see that for sure. It's always good to see that out of the Sharks.
What were the because I don't have it right in front of me. I'm trying to load it. Do you know what the time on ice was for all the D-men?
No, but I'm sure Tim Heed got a total of 3 minutes. Probably.
So funny seeing when they do the lineups with the graphics, and it just goes to his head alone up there in the corner. And Tim Heat on a line
And
with
our seventh
himself.
defenseman, Tim Heat.
My God, just a floating Tim Heat head up there. Good for him.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the. Unless you want to, are you gonna look up the time on ice thing?
Yeah, I found the time on
All
ice.
right,
It's not a. So Tim Heat got 8:06.
Okay.
Brendan Dillon was 13:07, and then Ferraro was 14:10.
And yeah,
So
I don't have a problem with Tim Heat. Like,
he played more than Radil.
what's fucking new? Well, how much did Radil play?
Radil was 6:14.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with Tim Heat playing 6 minutes. I mean, yeah, 8 minutes. He hasn't been bad, but it's just Ferraro is really putting him out of a job.
Ferraro's looking nice, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Sharks versus the Kings. The first game, another overtime victory because we got to take everyone to overtime for some reason this week. Sharks beat the Kings 4-3 in overtime. Shots, the Sharks were outshot 25-36. A lot of these games, the Sharks are still getting outshot, but another game where, I'll just say goals by Erik Karlsson, Timo Meier with 2 of them, and then Marleau with the overtime goal. But yeah, another game where we got no power play goals, 0 for 2, and our PK bails us out, 5 for 5. Another game where we just take way too many penalties, whether you want to say that we should have taken those penalties or not. Another game where we just have a high amount of penalties. And yeah, what are your thoughts on this game?
I thought biggest thing about in comparison to the last 2 overtime victories, this game was like just kind of on the funny side was so anticlimactic. Like the way Marleau scored that goal was just such a
yeah.
It was such a like the Kings suck and Marlowe's getting old kind of way to like score that. But I mean, I'll take it. Like I was happy with it. It just kind of made me laugh when I saw it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was another good win. It's shitty to be taking the Kings to overtime, but we're finding ways to win, and the old saying is, good teams find a way to win. So anticlimactic as fuck, and I hate the Kings, and I'd like to stomp on them a little more, but we'll have plenty more chances to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. My problem with Kings games is that they just feel too like lose-lose, Yeah. Like if we win the game, it's whatever. Like if the Kings fucking suck, we should win the games. So no one's going to be super happy if we win a game. But if we lose, it just sucks. Fans are pissed off.
Dude. And Kings fan. There's Kings fan base compared to the Ducks and Knights is just large enough to like I'll hear about it from people, so I hate it. And they're dumb too. Those are some dumb fans out there, the LA Kings fans. If any of you are listening, you're dumb. You probably just joined and Dustin Brown's your favorite player or some stupid shit like that. Have fun with Ilya Kovalchuk. But
man.
But yeah, I don't like the Kings are right up there with the Knights for who I don't like playing against.
Yeah, not only that, but
I guess
it's lose too because like the Kings will play harder. Like their players will play harder to beat us because they want to beat us. And then let's say like Detroit. Detroit comes over and they're just as bad as the Kings. Like, Detroit's a little worse, but whatever. Just an analogy. They're not going to like change the way. Like the Kings are just going to inherently play harder because we're rivals.
Yeah.
And so just hate fucking Kings games. We get just, and then going back to like the game itself, we just take like lazy ass calls. We get these tripping and hooking calls, and like whether you want to say these are good calls or not, this is a problem that we're having. Is we're taking a lot of these calls that look lazy, and I just feel like, and this I'll talk about this later, but this is another thing where I feel like is a problem with running 11 forwards and 7D, and you have forwards that are tired with one less person. But yeah, Timo Meier played a fucking great game and love to see it. Jamie Baker said on the broadcast that when Timo simplifies his games and looks engaged, like he's one of the best players on the ice. I completely agree with that.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I think it's the same with Hurdle too. But I think Hurdle's got a little less flash to him and also a little bit more of a, I don't know, how do you say it, sharing mentality. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hurdle's not thinking about himself the whole time, which I'm not. That's not an insult, Timo. You need to think about it. You need to feed your kids, if you even have them yet. But yeah, I don't know. Hurdle and Meyer can both go to a second level.
They really can. And I think also just another thing about this game is like it's still like a bummer. Like you thought it was an interesting game, an anticlimactic game. I agree, but it's just annoying to see the Sharks. Like a constant thing is just like stopping. They stopped working after they were winning the game.
Yeah.
Like after 3 goals, we
lazy.
couldn't get out of like the third period was just bullshit. Couldn't get the puck out of our zone. I don't want to blame Joner at all for this game, but
no, I thought Joner played well this game, honestly.
And then the too many men call at the end of the game when there were 4 players on the ice was such bullshit, and like I just fucking hate these calls that we've been getting. Like we get a call at the end of the game and they like pan over to when it was called and they counted 4 players on the ice and they count too many men, and I'm just like, all right, this game sucks ass. But yeah, I don't know. That's my little rant about the Kings. I just like think it's a lose-lose, and I thought this game was pretty poorly officiated. And then like also the third period was meh from the Sharks. Couldn't get the puck out of the zone.
Luckily, the Kings saved our asses by letting Marlowe basically just pop the puck in the net in overtime. So I agree with you. I completely agree with your take on it, but just get past it, move on.
Yeah. All right, then the Sharks will go to face the Winnipeg Jets. They are outshot 33-26, and they lose 1-5, 5-1. Sharks lost 1-5, whatever.
Yep.
This game fucking sucked. You got two.
I hated this game.
I was so hyped for this game because you had 2 teams, like the Sharks and the Jets were in the last 10, the only 2 teams with an 8-2 record. They're the 2 hottest teams in the NHL colliding, and we just fell flat.
The night before Thanksgiving too, I'd gotten off work. I was pretty sauced by the time the game started. I was excited, and an absolute just clunker.
We were 0 for 6 on the power play. Again, wildly concerning theme. Power play cannot get a goal. The Jets are the 29th best PK team, and we can't, in 6 attempts, we can't pull anything together. And it's just so annoying.
Our special teams is anomalous this year.
It's so weird
to me.
It's so weird. And you look like and think, should there be any blame on the special teams coach? I would not even say that. It just something needs to click on the power play, but the PK is unbelievable.
The PK is literally on a record-setting rate right now. I forget what it was, but currently, I mean, obviously we're almost just under 30 games in the season, but still, we have are on pace to set the NHL record for penalty kill in the season. So, I mean, if that's the give take we have to do, so our, I don't know why our power play has to be bad and change, but if that's how it is, then I guess I'll take the sick ass PK.
Yeah, I mean, we need to pull something together in the power play, and I don't know. When we don't have Hurdle in the lineup, this game just showed a big problem. When you think about, what does it say about playoffs? If you don't have Hurdle in the lineup, players get injured all the time in playoffs, more so than the regular season. We're missing out on one guy. Granted, he was a key guy on our team, but we're missing out on one guy. And it doesn't. That's
gonna come down to those Kudas and fucking Noah Gregor's on the team who
Yeah, and what are we gonna do? We got no cap space. We got no depth in our players.
We're gonna go get Athanasiou. We're trading Brendan Dillon for Andreas Athanasiou.
If that happens, Doug Wilson can stay the GM for the rest of my life. Yeah,
I think Detroit will probably lose their rights to a franchise at that point.
Yeah.
Something bad.
I don't know. There's other concerns in this game, and I don't want to be too down on the Sharks. They did win a ton of games recently. They had a great November, so I don't want to be too down on the Sharks. But So there was some cause for concerns about the power play. There's some cause for concerns about the forward depth. I would even say there's some cause of concerns for Shimmick. And, he started taking a lot of penalty minutes. Like, he's really racking those up. And, yeah, it's just another game where we looked flat. We have, like, Couture.
Hellebuck had a good game, to his credit. A very good game. A good game is an understatement. He had a very good game.
Yeah. But, like, I don't want to just say, like, oh, he stole the game, because I don't think he did.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I don't think he did either. I think the first period, I wouldn't even say the first period. The first half of the first period, up until we scored that goal to take the lead, the Melker goal, like that. But then after that, it just went fucking downhill. And then we had the goal overturned as well. I think it was this game, right? Did we have a goal overturned in this game?
I don't know. I can't remember,
okay.
Honestly.
Maybe I might be mixing it up. But either way, yeah, things went downhill. I don't think we dealt with any adversity in any good way this game. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't like it was at home either. Definitely I don't know, like a warning sign maybe. Could have just been a one-off. That's what I hope it is. And it looks, considering the next two games we played, it did look like it maybe was a one-off. So, we're working past this stuff. Hopefully we can clean it up even more.
Yeah. I don't know. On what you said, if we got a goal disallowed, I would just bet yes, because the theme of our season is that we can't get a fucking call because everyone's mad about what happened to us in the playoffs last year. But whatever.
Yep.
We'll talk about that later. Another game where it's just like such poorly officiated.
Yeah, no, it was definitely poorly officiated.
Timo literally
really
hip checked someone and they called a penalty, and it was like a good hit, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Every time. And I would we are not people that would hold back on ragging on the Sharks if they're taking weak penalties, because they do. They take weak hooking penalties.
Kaner loves weak penalties.
Yeah, he does. Some of our forwards love weak. Kevin LeBanc loves weak penalties. Those hookings, those trippings, those are his shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it's just so many like weak calls. I don't know. I just think like the multiple games a week, multiple OTs, like it was bound to catch up on us. We're running 11 forward, 7D. Like the players are more tired. They're getting more ice time. This was bound to catch up. And
Jets were a train. Jets were coming in red hot. And Hellebuck, like we said, he didn't steal the game, but he had a no pun intended. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, but DeBoer after the game was Oh, go ahead.
There's no goal disallowed stat, so I can't fucking find it.
That should be a thing, because we would. I would love to see that stat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
go ahead though.
DeBoer after the game was questioned, and he said, "I don't know what the answer is." So our head coach. Those direct quotes from him, I don't know, maybe he's trying to call out that he doesn't have enough from his guys. Like, he clearly doesn't believe in the fourth line. He doesn't want to play those guys. He's running 7D. Like, maybe he's just saying, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Could be a message to Doug. Yeah, be a message to Doug Wilson.
Yeah, like, it doesn't. I don't, as a Sharks fan, and we're ragging on him, I would say as a Sharks fan, like the idea is just forget about this game, have short-term memory, because this game was reminiscent of our 4-10 start, and we don't want to bring that back. So just forget about it. But yeah, your coach is saying that, and it's kind of concerning.
I actually thought this game was better than this didn't look like I thought that the Oilers game looked like that 4-10. I don't think we got some bad breaks in this game, and Hellebuck played well. I mean, the score makes it look really bad. Obviously, 5-1's like terrible, but I don't know. There's no point in it where I was like, this is clearly like our fault. There were a couple points where I was like, oh fuck, like the Jets look pretty good, but I don't know. It was easy. Sure. It was easy for me probably to move on from, and I'm hoping the Sharks have felt the same way.
Well, it's easy to move on when you've won like 8 of the last 10 games, but yeah.
It should be.
I agree. I was going to say something, but I forgot. Whatever. Sharks play the Kings next. I'm done with that. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that we fucking pulled our goalie when there was like 3 minutes left and we were down by 3 goals, and that's how they got the empty net. But whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You're going to pull the goalie? Like, what? All right. We'll see.
That was just Pete being like, let's finish this out even quicker. Like,
he probably.
I don't want anyone
Hey, Dylan, this game's over. Come on. Just get over it.
Kane, you're staying on the bench.
Yeah. Sharks play the Kings next. They win 4-1. They were outshot by the Kings.
That's how it should be.
Outshot by the Kings, though, 22-34. But we had goals from Marlowe, Vlasic, Couture, and Gregor. First NHL goal.
She was a beauty, too.
It was what? I told you. I brought this up. It was probably on episode 2. Maybe
that you thought Gregor
I
was
thought Gregor had
speedy.
fucking wheels. I mean, he does.
You're right. I mean, like, you thinking, that's the wrong way to put it.
I thought about it. I brought it to existence. You're welcome, Gregor.
You watched him in the morning skate, and you were like, this fucker's fat.
But yeah, much better showing, even though we were outshot. I think it's pretty crucial to have a bounce back game. And thank you, schedule, for letting us go against the Kings in that next game after we just lost 5-1. But, still the same problems still happening, and they're the problems that the Sharks need to solidify. They were 0-3 on the power play. And Jones played a great game.
Though. That's a problem. A good way to look at it. I'm being positive. This is kind of freaky. We were complaining about Karlsson and Jones when we started the episode with this. So, we still got new problems popping up, but we're shaving off the problem, as we go. Karlsson stepping up, Jones stepping up. Now we need to figure out the power play, get that back on track. Play the good teams a little bit better, a little bit harder. Yeah. But, being positive here.
Another thing that's tough is we can't get Jones a shutout this game. I mean, he fucking deserved it, and we let him score with like 2 minutes left.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was depressing as a goalie to watch.
Another
too. I knew in my head they're not gonna. I didn't think for a second he was gonna get it. I was like,
I want one so bad.
With 3 minutes left, I was like, no, he's not gonna get it.
I want a shutout so bad. Like we just have.
I don't know. It's gonna be a game where Joner's standing on his head. I don't know. It's like they're gonna make him earn it, like hard. I mean, not that he didn't earn this one, but
I'm talking 33 shots.
No, but I'm talking like crazy shit game. We're maybe winning the game, but 2-0, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my prediction for Jonas.
We can't buy a shutout.
Yeah,
but yeah, another positive thing, something you'd like to see, and hopefully will happen more. So you got a goal from every single line. Hurdle returns. We finally can run 12 forwards, 60 after that disaster of a game. And I don't know, we saw good things from Suomela. We saw good things from Gregor scoring his first goal. Like, could we finally, I know, don't want to get ahead of myself, just one game, but could that be finalizing the fourth line? Could we be finding Suomela and Gregor on our fourth line? I mean, the problem's still there, but it's a good sign for those two guys.
I think Gregor could be part of the answer. Suomela, though, I'm still fully convinced, regardless of how he did against Coyotes, fully convinced he's not an NHL player. At least not a San Jose Shark. He's done nothing in his career, and he continues while he's out there to do nothing. So
but look at every other AHL guy we have. They all do nothing.
I mean, for one, I don't want to look at every other AHL guy. That sounds awful. And two, Suomela is shittier than a lot of the Barracudas we even have. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll be the happiest person if you prove me wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, we're just kind of fucking throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. So, if that starts to stick, I'm fine with Sumo getting in there, and I think it's pretty important, especially before we go on our road trip in December. I guess we only have one game before that big road trip, but we need to see what's going to work for us. And that's something that we just haven't found.
That's what I'm saying. We were bitching earlier about the fourth line sucking, and I just don't think Suomela's shown to be the answer. So let's, in my opinion, why not keep keep switching them out. Like our team plays in the exact same arena as us, so it's not like it's a difficult thing unless we're on a road trip to just keep switching guys out. Like give Bergman another shot. See if somebody switches their mindset once they realize, oh shit, like we all have a spot to earn right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't just they all look terrible to me, and I would trade the four of them for one bad defender right now. So
Oh, that's what we need is another bad defender.
yeah,
Yes.
man.
Give
Well,
me another Dalton Prout.
once we get rid of Brendan Dillon for Anthony Ciu, we're gonna need a bad defender to take his spot.
Yeah. For sure, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, we next go to Arizona to play the Coyotes, and we beat them. Sharks win 4-2.
Yeah.
Shots were 30-23 in favor of the Sharks. We had a goal from Couture, goal from Gambrell, goal from Meyer, and then another goal from Couture, an empty netter. Sharks again 0 for on the power play, but 0 for 3 on the PK, shutting them out. Goodrow getting a shot on the first line, and just I think a good game all around. I'll let you, take it from here, and then I'll say my thoughts.
Probably the second best game behind the Islanders game, in my opinion, because division rival who's leading. I think they're second behind the Oilers, but division probably going to be a team we're competing with down the stretch for the top three, and we went into their barn on a weekend, and I think completely outplayed them. The first period they were beating us, but I even thought after the first period we were the better team. Grant, I missed about the first 10 minutes of the first, just to be enough. But from what I saw in that second 10, they looked great, and from there on, they were clearly the better team to me. And I didn't think the Coyotes looked bad necessarily at all. I would have liked to see us play against Kemper. I thought it was kind of shitty. We got to see because Ronta's not even bad, honestly. But I would have definitely preferred to see how we perform against a guy like Darcy Kemper, who's on absolute fire right now.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But fitting up for a fun matchup this year between the two of us, and I like our odds.
Yeah, both back-to-back games. They had a back-to-back in Vegas, and I think we had a back-to-back as well. They chose to put their backup goalie in, and we chose to keep Jones in, which I thought was a little strange, but whatever. I'm fine with it.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, there's some. I like this game too a lot because there are some good signs from the Sharks, and I like to look at these games and not try to nitpick too hard, but look at okay, what's giving me, reason to think this is an actual strong contending team.
Mm-hmm.
I like the answer from being down 2-0. This was the first time all year where we won a game where we came out behind in the first period. We haven't done that all year. If we're behind in the first, we've lost the game, except for this one. So, we shit early on, but we showed resilience, which, I think resilience was a common trait that the Sharks showed when they were, a Stanley Cup contending team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of times we watched Sharks games and they would go down a couple goals and then they'd fight back. Granted, there were always games where we were up 3-4 goals that we'd throw, but I think that is a good sign for the team. It's something we haven't seen all year, so yeah. And then the whole thing with Gambrell, maybe thinking that, I just like seeing him score. I like when our fourth line contributes a lot because I just need something to stick. He had a sick goal. That
His
fucking
goal
wrap
was
around,
fucking filthy.
Shot it between the defenseman's leg. Yeah, it was nice, and it was nice. He's been quiet as of late. I remember in the second episode, I praised him a lot because I thought he was one of the better Sharks out there. But he's been quiet. Might have been brought back down if he didn't answer, and he did. So that was good. That's kind of my thoughts on the Coyotes games, and that kind of wraps what I have to say about the 8 games we've talked about.
Yeah, just one other thing on the Coyotes. It's great to see them. They scored in the first 2.5 minutes. They scored both their goals, and if like I said, I missed the first half of that period, so I probably would have been freaking out. But
all the
thank
fun
God
stuff.
thank God Joner just put his blinders on and forgot about that shit. And because he looked great to me from what I saw. And then the guy, too, who's leading the charge on the comeback, the first goal, to get us out of the hole is Logan Couture, who should be the guy. Anyone can score a goal at any time. But the fact that it's our captain who's the one coming back after we start the game off with that kind of shit is awesome to see. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And Jones has always been, and that's a great trait of Jones that I think he's always had, is he's got short-term memory, which you need as a goaltender. And, it happens in his, close games, and it happens in games where he lets up 5 goals in a row. It doesn't matter. Like, he doesn't seem to really, get all in his head about specific goals. Not to say something wasn't off at the beginning of the season, but I'm just saying, a common trait I feel like is that if a goal happens, he doesn't seem too pissy about it. All right. Do you have anything else to say about the Coyotes game?
Nothing more. I'm excited for the next matchup.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of time talking about the games in the past. Let's talk about something more fun. Let's shit on the Sharks some more like we commonly do. Brent Burns. What a fucking tragedy that's been. Honestly, this has been his worst season defensively. During October, there were a bunch of players in the double-digit plus-minus. He had Vlasic, LeBanc, Karlsson, Couture. All these guys are terrible plus-minuses. And yeah, I know plus-minus shitty stat, but they all turned it around.
It's a real. It says something.
It says something when your entire team starts changing their goal differential. Your entire team.
It also says more for a defenseman.
Yeah.
Than it would for a forward. Yeah.
But your forwards and your D that were doing really bad were able to pull it together. And Brent Burns is still horrible in that stat. He is the third after the Coyotes games. He is third place in the minus category. And the 2 players that are above him are Detroit players, the worst team in the NHL. And regardless of the plus minus, he looks sloppy. You look at these games and he doesn't look good. He misses his mark defensively and he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. What do you think's going on with him, Jeff? I don't know.
Well, this is something interesting too that comes back to the power play. You remember the year we went to the Cup and the year after too, and I don't remember it as much last year, but it was still definitely there. And I was gonna text you about this thing, and I think it was the Coyotes game, but I just thought about it and I was like, you know what I don't see anymore is when Burnsy is just lining up with that wrist shot that he has from the blue line, where he could just pinpoint that thing. It wasn't like Ovechkin with his power play shot, but it was It was a lethal shot, and you did not want to give it up. Now, whenever I see it, it feels like 96% of the time, if he actually does get the shot off, it gets fucking blocked before getting there, or he fans on it, or he passes the puck. So that's just a small part of his game, but it speaks to the power play, which we talked about as having major problems. And, I also think it could be a sign of other stuff that's just not the same.
Yeah, and even defensively too, he just does not look sound. The fact that I feel like him and Šimik are our worst 2 lines. Ferraro's out there looking like a beauty all the time. He's not, this guy Ferraro works fucking hard. Probably one of the hardest workers on the team. So when he plays with Brennan Dillon, he makes them look relatively solid. Whereas I just feel like Burns and Šimik just don't look good, and I don't want to blame it on Šimik because I feel like there's a lot of opportunities where he misses his mark.
I haven't even I don't Šimik's fault. I think Burns has always played kind of wreck. That's just kind of his style. But I thought he was okay with it, and it worked for him because he was athletic enough to fucking make the last second plays. But now it's looking like maybe he's not athletic enough and he needs to switch something.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's the whole thing. Maybe he's going through something. I don't know. It's the whole part of his game too. It's Burns has always been known for being an offensive guy and sometimes leaving the defense behind. But
Quite literally, he was a winger.
Yeah.
That one season.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been known for doing that, and this year, and he posts like high amount of points, and I thought generally speaking the last 2 seasons, basically ever since DeBoer came in, was like, no, you're a fucking defenseman. He's started to progress and get better and better each year defensively in the defensive zone. And, every year he's been known for putting up points. He's not doing either of the things that I've liked to see him do. And it's just been sloppy. It's been frustrating to watch. Not only that, but, our nominations for the All-Star game, we nominated Couture, I think definitely. Nominated Kane, for sure. And then we nominated Burns. Those are our 3 nominations, and it bums me out to see that, because I'm like, really? Why are we nominating Burns? Like,
it's because of his celebrity just around the league, for sure.
Yeah, but Erik Karlsson,
because of his beard, and I don't know. I wouldn't. Okay, I personally would have then, because this is another.
What'd you say?
I would rather have Burns than Karlsson on the All-Star team. Just because I wouldn't want Karlsson. I don't know. I wouldn't want him representing us. He hasn't earned that right.
I don't think Burns has earned the nomination this year. I think
whatever. But... No, I guess mine's going supernatural to what he's earned as far as his play this year. I would prefer that just Burns was, repping the Sharks out there, not Karlsson.
Well, Karlsson's going to be repping the Sharks for 7-8 more years, so...
No, I know. So he'll have a lot more opportunities to make it.
We'll see.
Not this year.
All right, moving on to dressing 11 forwards in 7D. God, and maybe this is where we start to disagree, but I just hate this so much. I think, there's inherent problems with our team when DeBoer is doing this. And it sucks to see as a fan that we constantly did this when Hurdle was out. And it took Hurdle coming back in for DeBoer to put 11 or 12 forwards back in. But, it's not even like I feel like this is very effective. Not only are we dressing 11 forwards, but, the 2 extra fourth line player, whatever you want to call them, those 2 guys get like 4 to 6 minutes of ice. And Kane and Couture are getting like 25 minutes. Like this stuff is not sustainable, and you saw in the Winnipeg game, like it just really sucks to see. And yeah, it's an inherent problem with our fourth line and what DeBoer has been given, like the just jumble of AHL guys that he has, and just nothing's really sticking. Like, I prefer Gregor over Radil, but it's not like it really fucking matters. Like, who cares? And
yeah, I don't even see how. Like, I'm trying to look at now the Barracuda's roster and ours. I don't see what the fuck. What should he do? I don't know what he should do. This looks awful. Like, look at his options to deal with here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, the best thing I could say is go back to what I was saying earlier, which is just keep switching them out until one of them fucking shows us. I mean, that's fine with me. Because they all have sucked so far. I think Gregor's maybe earned a little more respect than the rest. But, I mean, that's not even that much in my mind. So I don't...
Yeah, but like, something that, I've noticed about DeBoer is that he will give up on players pretty quick. If he doesn't like their game, he kind of just gives up on them. Like, he's given up on Tim Heed. Even when Tim Heed posts a good game.
You're taken, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say like these guys are just done and they're not going to be able to, get another shot. It's just like, it seems like DeBoer has given up on a lot of these players. Like, he doesn't want to play these guys. He'll rather dress 7D and just like not even fucking dress another forward, not even fill a fourth line, just have our Couture and Kane play 25 minutes a game. When we go to overtime and when we, have back-to-backs, it doesn't really matter. It makes me think, like, do we just need to look at the waiver wire for a pickup if he's not impressed?
Yeah, that's... I mean, I don't even know what we can afford, though, It's like...
Nothing. Pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at fucking the guy's stats this year. Do the Barracuda suck, man? Are they just...
They've been going through some rough spots. They're kind of spotty.
I guess our goal not bad, but... Man, yeah, they don't look great. I don't know. This is truly a problem. Kind of, I think, rests on Doug Wilson's shoulders, and hopefully he can work some magic to figure it out, or either that somebody steps up. But it's been 28 games or however many games so far this year, and I haven't seen anyone step up. So I don't know. Do you think any of these guys, like, can you name three guys to put on the line down there? Be to your liking?
Well, I mean, you got Melker in the fourth line.
Okay, yeah,
So
Melker
he's a
Melker
stay.
stays there, but yeah,
I
but
don't know. I
add
mean,
to
I would
add
say
which
Gregor
even
and
actually even the fact that Melker is like a secure spot, because like I agree he deserves to be a secure spot given what we have, but like even saying that, like, that his job security is that good is kind of like, I think he deserves it for sure, but it's like there's no one like at his ankles, like
yeah,
no one's coming at his heels, like he's fine. um so yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. And like, I can't, I can't say two people that I would say these are the two people that should be in there. I could say these are my two favorites I've seen so far, but they like the delta between the different AHL players that have been called up is close to nothing. I mean, they all barely have any
Mm-hmm.
points, maybe an assist here or there, and Gregor got a goal. So, I don't know. It just like, yeah, you can blame Doug Wilson, but do you blame DeBoer a little? Do you blame him on being too hard, giving up on some of these guys too quickly? Should they like not be shut out so fast and given more ice time? Like, I don't know how good it is for these young guys' development. Like, you're constantly calling these guys up from the AHL, and then you're going to play them for
I
2 minutes or
mean,
have them ride the bench. Like,
the
it's not
team.
great.
I don't think it's that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know as well. You played more competitive hockey than I did, but they play in the same fucking city. Like, I get your emotions maybe get jacked up because you're like going up to the NHL to play for the Sharks. You play in the same arena. You're stepping out to. We haven't even sold out like most of our games this year. Like maybe you're going on the road playing in somewhere sick like Montreal every once in a while. But like, I don't know that I don't think that should be a factor. Um, yeah, I guess it could be good for them just to get a little more long term. I don't know, just to work with their line mates maybe, but other than that, I don't know. This just kind of feels like this feels very fucked to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's it's a it's just such a shitty situation. Like, I
It's a catch 22.
and I think like maybe we've seen that like a player like Radil has fairly no difference to Gregor or a Shimmick or not a Shimmick, a Sumo, and
Yeah.
and like something that we gave Radil an extension. He had a good couple games that he strung together last year, but maybe he just needs to be waived. Like, maybe we need to
Yeah.
start, preparing. Like, the whole cap situation and how that works with dressing these guys in a funny way. Like, every game where the players you dress are under the cap. If you're like under that, every game you get a little more cap space for the trade deadline. So like, as long as we stay under the cap, which we should and probably will do, Doug will probably make sure that happens for every single
Mm.
game until the trade deadline. We're projected to have about $4.2 million, and that is some room to move guys.
We
Unfortunately,
could definitely do something with that. Yeah.
so maybe it's dressed that way to make a little wiggle room. Hopefully maybe we can just get a little more from these guys in the AHL. Maybe throw a Dalton Proud on waivers. I don't know.
I was gonna
Maybe
say
throw
if we
Radil.
I was gonna say we could get rid of Brendan Dillon because that would take away three off of our cap. That would be delightful.
Hey,
How's
I've
he?
like
He's making almost triple the amount of money that Kevin LeBank's here. Good lord.
or Ferraro.
Okay, well, Ferraro though we like know, he
He's
starts small.
yeah, but he's a beast. I just
Yeah, he is. He
thank
is.
God for Ferraro or Prout would be in our top 6 or Tim Heed. It's just oh, what a
Yeah.
lovely turn of events that was. Whatever. This is something that we should, as a Sharks fan, I think that you should be thinking about this fourth line. And like the problem is, because I'm going to say it while we're winning, because no one really gives a fuck what's going on right now. Everyone's like, oh, we've won like 8 of our last 10. That's great. It is great.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you now, while we're winning, we're not going to be able to win, not even a playoff series with 3 lines. It just doesn't happen. Maybe one series.
No.
But it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. And not with our 3 lines.
Maybe if we were like playing the Ducks who snuck in at the last second or something.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our ref talk. And preface this by this is probably one of the most Homer things we're going to talk about, because that's the typical response when you complain about the refs is, oh, you're just a Homer. But do the refs hate us or hate reffing our games?
It feels like an NHL conspiracy thing. I don't know. It feels like, looks like my camera's kind of blurry.
Yeah, you've been kind of blurry for a little bit.
Like that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you look great.
All right. I'll fix it later. But yeah, it feels like the NHL is almost against us. Every time they call upstairs, I feel like the NHL is just like, it's the Shark. Let's just pay him back for that game we gave him last. It's like, first of all, I don't even like that because we weren't given that game. We scored 4 fucking goals. Like, that's clearly, as our power play is showing, that's pretty damn impressive because they can't even
for
score
our power
now.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. And if that is what they're doing, then at least we earn the right to no longer get shit. Even though I know like everyone's gonna keeps telling me, oh, you guys got so lucky. Like, even fucking Avalanche fans talking about how we got lucky by beating them last year. And I'm like, all right, this is stupid. Like, whatever. You guys were sitting at home golfing while we were playing. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think 100% the refs have been, and the NHL has been unfair with us. And then the Kaner thing too at the beginning of the season with the ref getting taken down. He gets 3 games suspension for that. I already thought that was ridiculous. Like, 1 game I could see. And then there's been other stuff too, but I haven't liked the way the NHL's dealt with us or the officiating.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's what I was trying to say. Trying to beat around the bush there when we were going through the games, but we just get so many weak calls, it feels like, and if there's anything up in the air, we don't win. And it could be, we're paying our penalty tax for last year's playoff series, or they're pissed off, like nobody likes reffing us because they think Kane's going to punch him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, which is fair.
You should be worried. Kane will punch anybody, even his own teammates. Yeah. But, I don't know. It's just been another, we spend so much time thinking about, like, what are the themes of the Sharks games that, maybe a cause for concern. Well, the fucking refs are a theme. Mm-hmm. The fucking refs are shit. They've been awful. So, that shit needs to be fixed. Because that's just, that's on this is the refs' fucking fault that they called that penalty in the playoff series against Vegas. And we shouldn't have to fucking pay for that.
Which, by the way, should have been a penalty, 100%.
Not a 5-minute major. But
people weren't even complaining. Like, still should have been a penalty. And I think it probably would have been 4 minutes because Pavelski was bleeding. So 4 minutes, we score our goal. There's a goal. You still get the second 2 minutes of the penalty. So we still have 2 minutes left. This is all legal, for what everyone's complaining about. We score another goal, as it looked like then we're only down by a goal. So, fuck off. Okay? It all could have went exactly as we wanted, so it really wasn't as big a deal as everyone makes it. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. That's our take on the refs, I guess.
Yeah, we'll give it. Yeah. Everyone else, now you just kind of keep your eye out for it if you're noticing it, and yeah.
Yeah. All right, and kind of the last thing I want to talk on before we go into the week coming up is the things that we need to see before this is a legitimate team. And we've seen a lot of good from the Sharks out of the last month. Probably one of the best months they've had in franchise history, but there's still some cause for concern. And I wrote down some things that I thought I wanted to see. First being Jones posting a shutout. I just really want to see that as a fan. I want to see the Sharks collectively play 60 minutes where we don't let the team score. I think it needs to happen. I think a Barracuda player stepping up needs to happen. We need to start to stabilize the fourth line. And, trade Dalton Prout. Bear down on the power play and take advantage of the kills that we have. Those are the things I need to see. And, if we're able to just put Prout on waiver wires, it's fine.
I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like Dalton Prout just kind of sitting there.
You like the guy who gets a concussion, comes back and gets in a fight and gets punched in the face, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He throws the fuck down, and he seems like a nice guy. Like, we don't need him on the ice for more than a... That's fine, man. A lot of hockey players are idiots. That's total. That's since when has that been an exclusive, something to keep someone out of a hockey game? I see more idiots out there than smart people. As far as a Jones shutout goes, I think best. I agree with you, but I think it's best that we don't discuss it or talk about it.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm probably doing us a disservice.
I definitely think the biggest thing is seeing at this point now, because we've cleaned up a lot of stuff we were complaining about, and we're still working on cleaning it up. So I won't bring those things up, but I think a Barracuda player stepping up, be the anchor of that fourth line would be great. That would be the next big thing that could really turn us up the road. Yeah, and long term it has to. Yeah, or else we're gonna turn back into that team of the first month. So yeah, I don't know. Power play as well needs to step up. I think as long as the PK is doing what it's doing, that's buying the power play time to figure their shit out. But the power play needs to figure their shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I just, it's fun to me that we have a great record recently, and we're still spending time shitting on our favorite sports team. But well.
Well, there's holes and stuff, and there's problems. So as long as there are, we have. If we were just being fluffy and nice this whole show, probably no one would really hear about it or want to listen ever. I wouldn't. So we got to rip on.
I already don't want to listen to this.
Yeah, I don't want to look at my blurry ass face.
You're so blurry today. I don't know what it is, but I'm just gonna roll.
Dude, well, our apartment gets hot as fuck because you don't control the heat in New York. Your guy just
no, but it seems like you're like your internet just sucks ass because you're super blurry, but you're blurry in the sense that you're not connected.
Wait, yeah, you're right. I don't think it's my camera. I think it's just blurry.
Yeah. But whatever.
Oh, that I made it even worse.
Holy shit, it's so bad. You gotta clean that shit up.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
All right, whatever. We're gonna roll with it still.
All right. Yeah, I'll fix it later.
So we got this week coming up. We're playing the Capitals at home. Then we take a little road trip, play Carolina, Tampa Bay, Florida. And then we go to the Predators, but I'm only going to take those first 4 games. First, we got the Capitals at home, one of the best teams in the NHL with a 19-4-5 record. What are your thoughts going into this game? Predictions? I don't know. Give me something blurry. Fuck.
I think we got the Cap. They're at home, right? They're right before we head over to the East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah. I say we take. That's gonna be a huge game, but I don't know why, but I feel like we beat the Caps pretty handily when we play them. That's like a common theme, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could be the other way around. Either I'm feeling a dub that game.
Or it could be the other way around. Yeah, we either shit on them.
I mean the other way. See, not as in they come to San Jose and fuck on us.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm feeling a dub that game for sure. We already beat the Islanders, and I think they're better than the Caps.
Yeah, I'm gonna predict a dub as well because I just want to see them close one more out before we get really tested. And we get tested by starting off in Carolina away. Carolina's still a good team, showing a good
Yep.
record, 16-10-1. We're playing in Carolina. There's a lot to say about this team. This is a team that I think, has really turned things around since, like, you look, not last season, obviously, but 2 seasons ago, they were kind of one of
Oh
those
yeah,
teams
they're
that was a
shit
laughing stock.
franchise. Yeah.
And, maybe some people thought that last year was kind of an anomaly, but it looks good this year.
Yeah, I don't
And
think so.
they look pretty solid. So that's going to be a big test. I think in these 3 games where we play Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Florida, we're probably going to win one where you think we're going to lose, and we're probably going to lose one where you think we're going to win, because that's just what we do as a Sharks team. So I'm going to say we win this game.
The Carolina game?
Yep.
All right. I'd say I think we win 3 in a row and then we lose Florida.
And then we lose to Florida.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
I think the Tampa game goes to overtime or shootout.
Well, one of these games have to go to overtime because we just love doing that now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. Final predictions. You're going to go a win against Capitals. A win against
I'm gonna
Carolina.
Go 3.
Overtime win against Tampa. And then a loss against Florida.
Yep.
And I got to think what I was going to say. All right, we're going to lose to Carolina. I changed my mind.
Okay. All right.
Then we're going to beat Tampa. And beat Florida. Yeah, we're going 3-1 as well because I still have high hopes.
The Sunday back-to-back is such an awkward
game.
Shit.
I didn't consider that.
Yeah. Like, Dell's going to be in one of those games, and I don't think DeBoer will put him in against the...
All right, I'm a flip-flopper. I changed my mind.
Okay.
We're going to go 2-2. You beat the Capitals. We're going to lose to Carolina. We're going to lose to Tampa Bay. And then we're going to pull it away for Florida.
Okay. All right, so you got the bookends, and I just got the one bookend. Yeah.
But, yeah. So minus, just looking at the month, too, in general, minus this road trip where I know we have Nashville after that end of the road trip, but we got another pretty good month coming up. 13 games this month. 8 of them are at home. We got one road trip, and then we don't see the road again till New Year's. So, we leave. I think the Sharks leave on Wednesday. Let's see. They're going to play against the Capitals tomorrow. Yeah, and then they're going to leave Wednesday. Most likely, they're going to be back by next Wednesday. So I think by the time they come back, they're not going to have to leave till New Year's Eve to go play Detroit. So we got another pretty good homestand.
Yeah, going down south this next week.
Yeah. All right, that's our predictions on the games coming up. The final thing we do is fan sentiment, where we talk about something the fans say, and we're just going to round out the show. I only got one because everyone just loves the Sharks right now, so it's no fun for me when I'm looking for this. I don't even remember what this was, but I'm just going to pull it up. Someone posted a comment. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's not that it's not that applicable. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
it says, sometimes I think our offense strategy gets a little too predictable. That perimeter play we do so well, then we get it up to the D and rifle a shot. And then it was talking about, unfortunately, not many shots were good chances tonight. Whatever. That's not important. They were talking about a specific game. What do you think on that, Jeff? Is our offensive strategy a little too predictable sometimes? Or, I just thought this was maybe a good thing to discuss. And we can transition this to our power play, too.
It kind of seems like it goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Burns. I would like to see more of his shot from up top, actually getting to the net. So maybe we've just been unlucky this year, but that seems like a poor excuse.
Yeah.
Because you can get the puck to the net, and we've seen Burnsy do that. I've seen him literally shoot the top corner with 5 guys in front of the net, and he just picks his spot, and the goalie doesn't even. He's not doing that anymore. And Karlsson can do the same thing, but he's much better at being able to step in, draw a guy, and then pass it over. So I don't know. I haven't been upset with how we've been able to move the puck on our power play, but I've been upset with the actual chances that we're creating.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to agree with you to some extent. I'm going to agree with this. I agree with what this person commented to some extent. I wouldn't say like our offensive strategy as a whole is too predictable, because really like we've been fine 5-on-5 and we've been creating other chances. But I'm going to say that our power play, like you were talking about, I think our power play is getting a little predictable, and it's not hard for teams to look at us and be like, okay, they scored a lot of power play goals last year. How did Joe Pavelski score all his goals? Oh, power play tips. Oh, they have Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns. What are they going to do? Put them on the point and try to blast shot? Like, it's not hard to figure us out on the power play, and that's one of the problems is, A, we lost our best tipper, and B, we have I think we're pretty easy to figure out as a team, especially on the power play, and, maybe that feeds into our 5-on-5 a little bit. I still wouldn't go so far to say that our 5-on-5 is a problem, because it really hasn't been recently. But power play, maybe start thinking about how to make it less predictable. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. That fan, thank you for the great comment.
Thanks, little buddy.
All right, with that, I think let's wrap up everything I have to say. Do you have anything to say? You want to blur your camera a little bit more before we end this?
No, I was just gonna say that I'll fix my camera for next week. I apologize for this god off. I don't even like looking at myself right now. It's actually a real confidence.
You're ugly. It's gross.
I'm glad I'm a New York Knicks fan. We're currently down in the third quarter. So
you're down by what?
For any Sharks fans, 40.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the third quarter. So that's always, if you're ever feeling down for being a Sharks fan, we're struggling ever, which you should. But just remember, there's Knicks fans out.
Yeah, or Detroit fans.
Yeah, or Detroit fans.
Yeah, Detroit's had their fun, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jeff. As always, thanks for joining me on this delightful episode number 5. Remember,
all right, buddy.
Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everything fun.
My mom's a follower.
Oh boy, I don't think I want your mom listening to this.
I know. I don't know if I do either. I don't think she does. She won't do it. She'll ask me what she can listen to. And I'll be like, maybe the last 2 minutes.
When Jeff and Lucas say goodbye, a heartfelt goodbye.
Yeah. All right, bye. And I mention her name. Oh, you said my name.
I love you, Mom.
Yeah, I love you. All right, buddy.
All right, see ya.
Later, man.